Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa A.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Channel KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, Audible, iTunes, and more. And why so many places? I want the maximum splatter zone possible. Fulfill my Happy 88 mission, 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. So I try to get you early, 8 a.m. 8, by the way, is a lucky number in Chinese. You'll see that I use a lot of them. It's a homonym for good fortune. It's actually a homophone for good fortune. I've been saying homonym for a while, and I just researched it and found out I was wrong, which is amazing. Not that I'm wrong, but that I'm actually admitting it. Okay, I don't know where that came from. But anyways, it is a day to celebrate life and to celebrate life of someone who absolutely made the most of it and helped so many people. He's a self-help guru. He's known as the Dean of Self-Development and Prosperity Teachings. He's one of the teachers from The Secret. I've had quite a few of those, actually. Neil Donald Walsh, Lisa Nichols, Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith. I think there's even more. Marianne Williamson. I should do a secret compilation show. But anyways, Bob Proctor was also a teacher on The Secret, and he just went to the other side. He's not lost. He's not gone, but he is on the other side. I call it heaven because from all the reports from people who have near-death experiences, they all say they experience a peace and a warmth and a love and a brightness, and that sounds like heaven to me. So I say when people pass, they pass to the other side. They're not dead. There's no such thing as death because we are all energy that lasts forever. That energy is, though, for a limited time in our bodies, our human bodies, that we get to make the most of. Bob passed last week and he was 88, another great number combination, double good fortune. And I know that he's loving us from the other side, still teaching, I'm sure, but I wanted to recognize and honor and commemorate a great man with a tribute show to him when I got to interview him several years back with Michael Bernard Beckwith, and his words of wisdom are surely timeless that we can enjoy. But before we listen to Bob Proctor, I thought I would just chime in for a feel-good minute with Dr. Marissa. I haven't done one of these in a little bit because we've had great guests and great people on the show, but I had a request for what happened to those segments where you help me feel better right now. So that is the question of the day that I'm going to answer real quick. How do I feel better right now? Well, I'm going to go to my alphabet soup, and it's CTBS. If you're one of the thousands, thank you very much, who have already gotten my book, 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are. This is one of the Happy 88 tools called Call the BS, call the belief systems that are keeping you from feeling good. So if you keep bringing to your head, you're never going to amount to anything, which someone might have said to you when you were young, or you're ugly, or you're fat, or you're stupid, or you're worth nothing, you're never going to get it. All those are BS. Call the BS, call the belief system for what it is. It's not the truth. And they're just things that if you keep thinking, they'll bring you down. So 2 words for you on that. Stop it. Now, the other day, I came up with a new angle on CTBS, and that's choose the bright side. So we're going to update the CTPS with that. Choose the bright side. You know, I'm a student of the law of attraction with Abraham Hicks. So for every topic you have in your life, there's two different sides. So health, I could choose to focus on how good my health is, that I don't have any terminal diseases, that I can swim and bike and do all those things, and my body supports those things in terms of my health. Or I could focus on the side of my health that I don't like. I had 2 hip replacements. I'm not as thin as I was when I was modeling. Even though I'm ageless, I am going through the aging process and I don't like it. So on my health, I can choose the bright side of the focus of my health or the dark side. And that choice is mine. I could do the same thing for my friends. Oh gosh, when she says stuff like that, drives me crazy. Or why does she do that? Or does she really know what she looks like in that? Or I could choose the bright side and focus on the things that are wonderful about her. And usually for people that you call friends, there's way more positive things than there are negative. And I choose to know that 88% of my friends and family are wonderful, fabulous human beings. And 12% of the time, they're human. And I can see myself that way as well. So when I choose the bright side, CTBS, it always makes me feel better. I have that choice. And I hope that makes sense to you, because I'd like you to apply that today and tell me tomorrow if you haven't had a better day choosing and living and seeing the bright side of life. And you just never know when it's going to be over. So I want every single day for you to be like it's bright present, which is also a gift. Yes? All right. And when we come back, it will be Bob Proctor as we bid him farewell temporarily from this side, but eternally remembering his words, his contribution, his wisdom, and his life. When we return on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa A.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere, including my YouTube channel, where you can not only listen, but you can watch as well, which is especially important today because Bob Proctor loves to show and tell. And so when you see this brilliant man's interview, who just went to the other side last week, he was actually born July 5th, 1934, just outside of Toronto, which is really close to me. He was born in Guelph, Ontario, and I was born in Waterloo, Ontario, and it's only like maybe 19 miles away from me. And I didn't know that until I researched that today, exactly where he was born. I knew he was Canadian. All good things come from Canada, just saying. But he actually started in a technical school. He had no skills. He hurt his thumb. He dropped out of school. And then someone gave him a book called Think and Grow Rich. And it changed his life. And he became the person to write a New York Times bestselling book called You Were Born Rich. And he was a contributor, as I mentioned before, to the movie and the book, The Secret. So without further ado, commemorating and celebrating the life of Bob Proctor, Here he is with my big brother, Michael Bernard Beckwith, in a wisdom series to remember. Enjoy.
Two fantastic teachers who you will want to hear if you've not already heard. The first is Bob Proctor, the Dean of Prosperity and Abundance Teachings, shows people how to understand their hidden abilities to do more, be more, and have more in every area of life. His teachings are primarily based on Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, and his delivery is second to none. For more than 55 years, Bob Proctor has focused his entire agenda around helping people create lush lives of prosperity, rewarding relationships, and spiritual awareness. As one of the world's most highly regarded speakers on prosperity, he is internationally known for his inspirational and motivational style. He's been interviewed on CNN by Larry King and on the Ellen DeGeneres Show, and will be on CNN Espanol later this month. And the second, Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, no stranger to my show since he is my big brother, is the founder and spiritual director of the Agape International Spiritual Center in Los Angeles, which is celebrating its 30th year. 3 of his most recent books, Life Visioning, Spiritual Liberation, and Transcendence Expanded, are recipients of the prestigious Nautilus Award. Beckwith has appeared on Super Soul Sunday just recently, Dr. Oz, again, The Oprah Show, Larry King Live, Tavis Smiley, and his own PBS special, The Answer Is You. He's part of Oprah Winfrey's inaugural Super Soul 100. A sought-after speaker and meditation teacher, Michael's been the recipient of numerous humanitarian awards. Every Friday at 1 PST, thousands tune to his radio show on KPFK. Wake Up, the sound of transformation. Please welcome two brilliant, fabulous men in my life, Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith and Bob Proctor.
Good day to you, Marissa. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Marissa. Good to be here with you and Michael.
Absolutely. And congratulations to you, Bob. One of the reasons I brought you on is because you are getting a fabulous tribute at Carnegie Hall in New York next month for your many years of work. And I was just corrected. I thought you were 81, but you are 82. So you're a very good-looking 82. You must use oil of Olay.
I don't hang around with old people, Doctor.
Well, it shows.
And that's good advice.
Don't hang around with old people. Well, I love that saying, you don't stop laughing because you grow old. You grow old because you stop laughing. Yeah. So we do a lot of laughing here. So welcome to, and congratulations on your tribute. And both of us will be there in November, and we'll have a little more information about that later on in the show as well. We're giving away 2 tickets to that. PJ was kind enough to offer those to my listeners, so that will be part of the Asian Oprah giveaway later on the show. So you'll want to stay tuned so you can know how to win that. But first of all, I would like to, I know I usually don't talk about politics, but we're so close to the election. We're so close to deciding, and Bob, you're actually Canadian, but I did want a couple of minutes to just talk about, we as people who are trying to encourage people to be the best that they can be. We're in America. We're also about, nonviolence. We're also about raising the awareness and consciousness of spirituality and new thought and ancient wisdom. What do you say to Americans right now who are either disgusted with both candidates, who are not knowing how to vote or wanting to be good Americans, not understanding what's going on? What would you say to them?
Well, first of all, I think America is the greatest country in the world. I am Canadian, but I love America. I think America has taught the world something about opportunity. It's the most generous country in the history of the world, and there's such great opportunity. You can focus on what's wrong with the election, or you can focus on the fact that they have an electoral system where anybody can run. And I think there's too much negativity in it. Mm-hmm. That's about all it is right now. But it's still, it's a free election. People can choose who they want. Mm-hmm. And I think America is a great country.
Okay.
I've always felt that. I felt it for years. I remember one time many years ago, I got a green card, and I was driving across the border at Windsor, Detroit. My kids were all small. They were very small. I think the oldest one was maybe 7. And then they run 5 to 4, something like that. And we crossed the border. We had all the papers, and they gave me the green card. They took and laminated it and gave it to me. And I was driving away from customs, driving into Michigan, and I had the most overwhelming feeling of gratitude. It was very special. I can still remember it very clear in my mind, and I'm going way back to the late 60s. And I felt so fortunate that I could go anywhere in America. I could go from state to state. I could stay there for the rest of my life if I wanted. I could work there. I could start a business there. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't help but think of the millions of people that probably take it for granted. Mm-hmm. See, I was just given this card. I was an adult. I was married with children. And it was just an overwhelming feeling of freedom and gratitude. And I never forgot that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So when I think of America, that's one thing that comes to my mind.
Right. Michael?
I think that America stands for a tremendous amount of hope and possibility written within the Constitution and all the founding papers. There's possibility and vision. And it's up to the people who actually live in America to actually make that vision come true. There's obviously a tremendous amount of work to be done in the justice system, the legal system, educational system, the medical system, to come up to the highest vision of possible. That's possible. So it takes a tremendous amount of work. I stand with Bob in terms of the awareness that there's tremendous opportunity and possibility here for people who can think outside of the box, can begin to see themselves with a greater identity, an identity of the light, the identity of a spiritual being that has no limits and no limitations. And so there's tremendous opportunity. So America is a place of tremendous hope. And as someone who lives here and who has grown up in America, I've always been one who was always on the edge of trying to make it better, trying to transform it, trying to bring it into the ideal that it holds. Mm-hmm. It was Dr. King who said that he loved America so much that I'm paraphrasing, of course, that his love of America allowed him the possibility to criticize it more than others because of where he stood and what he was experiencing at that particular time in his life. Mm-hmm. So in that same vein, I have tremendous critique, primarily around the fact that when we talk about the elections and when we're talking about choosing two candidates, we have to be, there's a couple of levels. I know you don't want to get into a political talk here. But
I do, and I kind of do, and I kind of don't, but it's right. Just, did you watch the debates last?
That debate was nothing. Yeah. But I'll just interrupt because it's the same with the first one. There was nothing there. Nobody answered any questions.
Right.
But I will say that you're dealing with paradigms. Mm-hmm. And within the present paradigm, you choose a particular president that you believe can best serve all of America. However, there's another paradigm that's emerging that has nothing to do with those two candidates or the candidates of the third and fourth party. And that's the paradigm, I think, where Bob and I hang out about the possibility of a world that works for everyone, where there's enough energy, enough food. Now, all that stuff exists right now on the planet. There's an answer to every issue on the planet now in real time, except what's being suppressed by interests that are residing in the old paradigm. And so we have to be reminded that when you're dealing with the political scene, those individuals are in an old paradigm that's dying. We are in a paradigm that's emerging. And so if we can always separate that in the old paradigm, choose the best candidate possible. But at the same time, work for the emerging paradigm that speaks to more of a global awareness of everyone's needs being met.
Thank you for that.
Stop.
Thank you for that. No. It's important because I get asked that question, where it's like, who lost the debate? And the answer is America. If you watched it, so then you're like, well, then do we vote? We don't vote. What do we do? So I love the answer. Yes, you do the best possible vote that you can in the old paradigm, and then look beyond that old construct, the old BS, the old belief system, and do what we can on the other end. So let's talk about the other end. Being the best that we can be, seeing prosperity not as money is the root of all evil, which is what I understand your message has been around, Bob, for 50 some years, that it is okay to be prosperous, rich, abundant. And that kind of flies against some of the belief systems or the BS around spirituality, or, we shouldn't talk so much about money. So let's hit that one.
Well, I think the problem with money is the problem, same with a lot of things. The real problem is ignorance. Money is is not a problem. The lack of it's a problem. With some people, too much of it's a problem. But money's merely an instrument, and it's only used for two things. One is to make you comfortable, and the more comfortable you are, the more creative you can become. And the second is to extend the good you do far beyond your own presence. I have found that money will just make you more of what you already are. If you're not a nice person, you'll probably become despicable if you get enough of it. And if you are a nice person, you're going to become a nicer person because you're going to be able to do more good. So I see money as an instrument, and I think people don't understand money. Mm-hmm. Money is a reward received for service rendered, and it's an instrument that will enable you to extend the service you render far beyond your own presence. Mm-hmm. I'm all for earning all the money you can, and then put it to work. Mm-hmm. I've been living in the same house for over 30 years. I have no desire to get a bigger, a better house. I like it here. I'm comfortable here. I'm into supporting Cynthia Kersey in her endeavors of building schools in Africa, and we now build a school every week and a half. I want to get to the point we can build one every day. Mm-hmm. And without money, we wouldn't be able to do that. So I see money as a great instrument, and that's all it is. It enables you to extend the good you do beyond your own presence. It doesn't make you a better person. It makes you more of what you already are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
And yes, it is a little sad that he is no longer with us, but I'm so grateful that I got to meet him. I was actually in New York celebrating his Lifetime Achievement Award ceremony at Carnegie Hall. And I'm so grateful for that opportunity. Don't go away. We'll have more Bob Proctor and Michael Bernard Beckwith when we come back on Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa A.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports radio station, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, Audible, iTunes, and more. And thank you for making me the number one 8 a.m. talk news show in the morning. And this is the number one talk news station in the IE. And I'm so grateful that you're here, continuing to support. And as a show of appreciation, today's Asian Oprah giveaway is a copy, an audiobook copy that I actually narrate of my number one best-selling book, forward by Michael Bernard Beckwith. Oh, virtual background, interesting. it cuts out the rest of the book, but you can see that it sort of looks like me. And so if you're the first one to go to www.drmarissa.life, then you will get an audiobook copy when you put in the subject line, Asian Oprah giveaway honoring Bob. How's that? All right. And without further ado, here is the remainder of my interview with the fabulous teacher, Dean of Self-Development, Prosperity and Wisdom Teachings, Bob Proctor, and my big brother, founder of Agape International Spiritual Center, where I get my positive roots watered and my peace of mind fertilized, Michael Bernard Beckwith. Enjoy.
And today we are continuing with our wisdom series with two brilliant men, Bob Proctor, the Dean of Prosperity and Self-Growth, and as well Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, founder and spiritual director of Agape International Spiritual Center.
I was having a conversation one day with Mikey Steller, who in our marketing director of our company, and a couple come up in conversation. And she said, they're the poorest people I know. All they have is money.
All they have is money.
Yeah, it is.
The problem with money is we don't teach people how to earn money. You can go all the way through our educational system and learn absolutely nothing about earning money.
Okay.
It's we're taught how to save it. We're taught how to invest it, but we're not taught how to earn it. And so you have brilliant people going around and they don't know how to earn money.
Yeah.
Money is a reward for service rendered. The amount of money you earn is always in direct ratio to the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the difficulty there is in replacing you. Mm-hmm. But you take nothing with you. When you leave much the same way you come. I always say you leave with no hair, no teeth, no money. That's how you arrive.
And I would go a step further, Bob. I would even say within our school system, they don't even teach you how to save and invest money or how to open a bank account or any of that. People graduate from high school and know nothing about the law of circulation. They know nothing about the law of receptivity. They know nothing about the law of correspondence. They know nothing about the law of saving and investing. They get it. If they go to college, oftentimes they know nothing after they graduate from college. It's not a part of our educational system. And it's
there's so many people operate with limited supply. I love the way Trollwood put it in his essay on Spirit of Opulence. He says, when you're dealing with infinite, you can never take more than your share. There's money for everyone.
Right.
Of everything.
It's inexhaustible. It's inexhaustible.
Yeah. But then why are there so many people, and maybe this is a perception, but I meet so many spiritually minded people who are broke, or they continue to affirm their brokenness, or I can't afford that, or I can't do that, or I don't have enough money this month.
Don't understand what they're saying generally.
Mm-hmm. And then you have the other end, people like Donald Trump, who has the appearance of so much money, and you that whole perception around corporate greed, and the nasty people or the mean people have all the money, have all the wealth. That disparity of the have and the have-nots, or good people who deserve to have or work hard and then they get their pensions all taken away, or what is that? What is all of that stuff?
Well, you threw a lot of things into one question, Marissa.
Yeah.
But Thank you.
Generally speaking, whether you're spiritual or whatever, so many people do not understand the laws of the universe. They don't understand their conversation. They don't understand the power of their word. They don't understand the power of their thinking. So they may love God and whatever concept of God that they have very little understanding about the magnitude of the abundance that surrounds us. And how and they've made an agreement with mediocrity that money is a lot of money makes you evil and nasty. So they have to break that particular agreement with that mediocre thinking, understand the laws of the universe, and begin to manifest the money that they need in order to do the will of God, in order to do a greater expression of life. Everyone doesn't need to be a multi-millionaire. Everybody has a different vision, different gift, different talents, different capacities for service, but they can demonstrate what it is that they need to be their authentic self. Now, of course, if you're talking about individuals that you've just mentioned, the media always gravitates towards the lowest common denominator of the human experience and the grossest experience that we can find. So naturally, we would be saddled with all of these individuals who are nasty and mean and have a lot of money because it brings people to the television sets. But there are many people who are very philanthropic, many people who have millions of dollars who live to give, who generate a lot of money, support spiritual communities, support school systems, support all manner of efforts. But you don't really hear about these people because many times they're not run by their ego. But they're doing good work. But you would hear about individuals who are in politics because you have to have a big ego to even be at that level of run a country. You see.
That's great. That's great. Thank you. That actually answered all of mine, all of my myriad of questions. And if you've just tuned in and you're wondering who the two fabulous men on my camera are and in my studio today, it is Bob Proctor, and he is a master coach. He's a prosperity teacher. He's been doing this forever. And Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, founder of Agape International Spiritual Center, also known as my big brother. And they are here sharing their wisdom to add to my wisdom series. You'll remember the show with Neil Donald Walsh and with Don Miguel Ruiz. And we're talking about money. We're talking a little bit about politics. And now I'm going to highlight you, Bob, just for a second, and talk about who would you say your two most important influential mentors were in getting you to where you are today. And Michael, that'll come to you as well in the next question.
Well, actually, there's more than two. There's three or four.
Okay.
Ray Stanford is the first one. He is a man that I came across in 1961, and he gave me this book. The book has fallen apart now, but I've been reading this book every day now in another 10 days, it'll be 55 years. From October the 21st, 1961, Think and Grow Rich. And then I got into, just packing this up to take with me on the road. This is a recording that Earl Nightingale made. That's a record. On one side, it says Strangest Secret. On the other side, it says To Pay the Price. And I started to listen to this record. I should show you this because this is a bit of an antique as well.
See, aren't you glad I made you do Skype so we had show and tell?
Yeah, here.
And I'm glad kids know what vinyl is now, too.
Can you see this?
Oh, wow. Is it the portable player?
Portable record player.
Wow, that's so cool.
Not long ago, Albert Schweitzer, the great doctor and Nobel Prize winner, was being interviewed in London, and a reporter asked him, "Doctor, what's wrong with men today?" The great doctor was silent a moment, and then he said, "Men simply don't think."
And that is a problem. I got into Think and Grow Rich, and then I got Earl Nightingale's condensed narration of Think and Grow Rich, which led me to that recording, The Strangest Secret. So those two men had a phenomenal impact on my life, and my life changed like night and day, and I couldn't figure out what I had done. I was living in England. I started cleaning offices to earn some extra money. And within a year of reading this and sitting down with Ray, my income had gone from $4,000 to $175,000. I remember when he gave me this book, he said, "If you'll do exactly what I tell you, you can have anything you seriously want." Well, I didn't believe that. I was broke. I was unhappy. No formal education. And I just didn't believe it. But I believed he believed it. And I think that did something to me. And so I started to do exactly what he said. I was living in England. I had open offices in about 7 different cities in Canada and the United States. And I was living over in England, and I had earned over $1 million, and I couldn't figure out what happened. I didn't think I was lucky. I didn't believe in luck. I had been raised to believe if you're going to do really well, you've got to be really smart. I knew I wasn't that smart. I'd also been raised to believe if you don't go to school, you'll never get a good job. I didn't have a good job. I owned the company. And I had only gone to school for 2 months, high school. And so I wanted to know what happened, and I started to study. I ended up going to work with Earl Nightingale and Lloyd Conant, and I met Leland Val Vanderwall and Dr. Harry Roeder. So there's 4 or 5 of them that really shaped me. And it took me 9.5 years, but when I got the dots to connect, all I wanted to do was teach it. Mm. And
did they criticize
I think we're led
you?
down the wrong path. Mm. I think we have to understand the essence of who we are. And that's what these people started to teach me. Okay. We are spiritual beings. We are a soul. We don't have one. And the soul is forever seeking its awareness of its oneness with God. So we're always attempting to expand our level of awareness. And I've never stopped studying, and I never will stop studying. I absolutely love to study this. I love to study who we are. And all I want to do is share it. That is my great motivation. When I wake up in the morning, that's what I want to do. Mm. And that's all I want to do. Mm. I don't want to do anything else. So I've had 4 or 5 people that really had a profound impact on my life. And they helped me begin to understand who I am. But I think it's a process. I don't think you ever get it all put together. Mm-hmm. I think it's a process, and you keep becoming more and more aware. And the more aware you become, I think the more effective you are, mm-hmm. the better you're able to share it.
How much of that was them believing in you, even though you didn't believe in yourself?
Oh, I think that was an enormous part of it.
Okay.
You see, I think what they do is they lead you to start to believing in yourself. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I found there's a couple of things. First of all, everything you study, I don't care, you can get into Bhagavad Gita, the Quran, the Torah, the Bible, all the psychological books, all Hales and Carnegie's, and every place they tell you, you have to believe. Mm-hmm. And that was really playing on my mind, because I was thinking, how do you believe? You know, right. Somebody said, just believe it. Well, how do you believe? Yeah. And I was having lunch with one of my mentors, Leland Val Vanderwall. He was a brilliant man. And he's gone now, God bless him, but he sure helped me. And he said something, and like everything fell into place. He said, our belief system is based upon our evaluation of something. And frequently, if we reevaluate a situation, our belief about it will change. Mm-hmm. Well, most of our beliefs we inherited. We didn't originate them ourselves at all. Most of the beliefs that people have are absolutely absurd.
That's why they're called BS.
They have no foundation whatsoever. And when he said that, I got him to repeat it because it was like bells going off in my head. I suddenly found out how and why I changed. I had changed my belief system about who I was and what I was capable of doing. And I did that through reevaluating who I was. All this material I was studying, I was trying to figure out me. I was trying to figure out who I was. And as I started to reevaluate my belief about myself, my relationship with God or infinite, and my relationship with you, with Michael, with the world in general, shifted completely. And I could see we're all one. There's only one power. And we're all an expression of that power. Everything's an expression of that power. But we're a special expression because we're created in God's image. We've got creative faculties. We're creative beings. Mm-hmm. So we can do something that no other form of life can do. All the other forms of life have everything we've got except our creative faculties.
Yeah.
Well, all the other forms of life are completely at home in their environment. They blend in. We're totally disoriented in our environment, and that is because we've been blessed with the faculties to create our own environment. And unfortunately, too many have not learned that, and they're a product of their environment rather
Yeah.
than create their own environment.
Thank you for that, Bob. We're going to have him at the pulpit on Sunday, right, Barbara Michael? That was awesome.
You want to come in, Bob? You want to come in?
That was great.
You come in this month. You come in this month, Bob.
Absolutely.
I would love to, Michael, anytime.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to call you when we hang up.
I
And give you a
I know, right? And we're going to have to
You know,
take a quick little
if I
break
could
right
just
now.
interrupt for a second. Michael had me speak at his church one time, and it was the first time I'd been there.
Uh-huh.
And I said that everybody should go there at least once. It was a spiritual experience, the like of which I had never had. It was something very special. And when I got up to the front, he had everybody stand up and put their hands out and send love to me. It changed my whole being.
Aw.
That is, I think, the agape is, without question, one of the most phenomenal centers of spirituality on the planet.
Oh, that's
It's certainly
beautiful.
the most powerful one I've ever been in.
Oh, thank you, Bob. That's my home, and that's
Oh, well,
and that's my
no,
teacher, and
That's not just my thoughts. I think that's the thoughts of a lot of people.
that's beautiful.
When you start to become inspired and motivated, and you start to yield to your greatness, you do things you don't feel like doing. You don't feel like getting up, you get up anyway.
Right.
You don't feel like eating the right food, you do it anyway. You don't
Right.
feel like studying a little bit, you do it anyway. And that's so I don't feel like it is a disease that many people have. It's called
Yes.
laziness. And many people are afraid to break free from the herd because they don't want to be talked about. Because when you start to break free, people don't like you. They talk about you. Who does they think he is? But you know what? They never gossip about a couch potato. They only gossip about people who are trying to make a difference.
You know, Michael, you just said something. You were saying you read the same thing over and over. This is a book holder that I have on my desk. And I'll keep this open. This is The Hidden Power by Thomas Trollwood. And right now, I'm reading Affirmative Power. And it's only 3 pages, but I've been reading it for 3 months.
Right.
Every day. Let me read you the start. It's so good. Thoroughly to realize the true nature of affirmative power is to possess the key to the great secret.
Yep.
Trollwood is such a phenomenal author. My goodness. I mean, he takes the most complicated and he winnows it down so I can understand it. But I have this. It's a book holder. When I went into Earl Nightingale's office way back around 1965, I noticed he had a holder to hold the book open on his desk. And that stuck in my mind. And I asked him why he had it. He said, because I read the same page over and over again for a couple of months. I've been doing it ever since then.
Yeah.
Yep. The same thing. I love Thomas Trollwood. I have a powerful statement that I love of his. He says, in order to understand the wonders of the universe, you have to do 2 things. You have to realize you're at the center of it. At the same time, you have to withdraw all thinking that you can contribute anything to its efficiency. So you're at the center of the universe, and you can't control any of its efficiency.
Well, you know,
You're not all that.
In the Dory lectures, he said something that's very interesting and a person could easily miss. He said, my mind is a center of divine operation.
That's right.
Now, in everything, if I was holding a basketball, there's only one center. There's only one center in this studio that I'm in. There's only one center in a city. If I had an apple, there's only one center. He said, my mind is a center. That would indicate there's more than one center.
Right.
And I stumbled on that and I thought, wow, that's huge. You're dealing with infinite, any point center.
Every point is center.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're at the center of the universe, and we are centers. I think some people got it mixed up. They thought there was a mistype. They heard center, but it was center. We're not original sinners. We're original centers in the mind of God.
That's right.
That's great.
Well, in anything, you know,
Don't get me and Bob started up
by
here
the
for
outer
this stuff.
measurements.
I know.
When there is no outer measurements, I have here a globe. There's only one center, and that's determined by the outer measurements. But when you're dealing with infinite, there is no outer measurement. So every point's center.
Yeah.
Every point is center.
Yeah. And if you're not following, I just want you to don't worry about following. Just watch the transformation of these two young men on camera when they're talking about something that they're excited about. You guys look like you're like 8 years old and you're all excited about what you're talking about. It's beautiful, doesn't it? I mean, they look ageless and this is the fountain of youth right here. Be interested, be enthusiastic, love what you're doing, want to think. You know, there's nothing worse than contempt before investigation. Just go out and learn and grow and think and be rich and use the money that you have to do everything that you want and more. And that, I think, is the bottom line here.
You know, I have traveled all over the world now for well over 50 years. And I have found everywhere I go, I keep asking people, what do you want? What do you really want? Mm-hmm. And I've come to the conclusion people just want three basic things. Oddly enough, most people don't want to be really wealthy. What they do want, they don't want to have any financial concerns. They want to be free insofar as money's concerned. If they want to take a trip, they want to be able to take it. Mm-hmm. If they want to buy a dress or a suit, they want to be able to buy it. No financial concerns. Number two, they want to wake up and really be excited about how they're going to spend their day. Mm-hmm. They're going to do what they love all day. And they want to mix with people who are creative and productive and creatively productive. They're upbeat. And they're about what the three things want. I've got those three things. Mm-hmm. I love my life. Mm-hmm. All I want to do is just keep growing. Greater awareness.
Beautiful. That's the final word. Nothing more needed. I have that life too, and I'm so grateful for it. And I know that you do too, Reverend Michael. Is there any last word from you for the listeners out there? Thank you, Bob. That was perfect.
I think everything that we said has covered a lot of material. I would say that all of us are at the center of the universe. As he quoted Trollwood, our mind is a center in the mind of infinite possibilities. We have to know the difference between thinking and mentation. Mentation is the regurgitation of thoughts and opinions and points of view that you have every day. As Bob mentioned earlier, some of them you've inherited, some of them you get from the collective race consciousness, from the overculture, from the news. We have to have inspired thought. Mm. Inspiration is a different kind of thought than your normal mentating. Inspiration comes directly from the mind of the universe. Yes. So you have to court it. It has to be important to you. You have to wake up and want that. You have to study. You have to meditate. You have to vision so that you can be inspired. Inspiration pulls you to a greater expression of your real destiny. And I will say one other thing. Every single being, it's not a throwback in the bunch. Every being has a great destiny within them. That's right. They have to discover it, uncover it, activate it, and ultimately express it. There's not a throwback in the bunch. The universe did not create any accidents, any extra people. Everyone matters. Everyone is a unique expression of infinite possibility, and we have to wake up to that absolute truth.
And so it is. Thank you so much, Bob Proctor, Michael Bernard Beckwith, for an amazing show, for amazing words of wisdom. They're talking to you who doesn't believe that they are good enough or worthy enough. You are wrapped in a warm blanket of worthiness. You are loving, loved, and lovable, and don't you forget it. This is Dr. Marissa signing out for now. I'll be right back with the Balance Bar. Thank you so much to both.
Thank you, Marissa. Thank you. It's always good being with you, Bob.
My pleasure, Michael.
We'll see you in New York.
I'm going to call you about a date to speak at Agape.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'd love it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
And I hope you enjoyed the timeless and eternal words of Bob Proctor, who is on the other side now, this tribute as he passed last week, to remember and to keep his inspiring words with us eternally. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from my living room during the pandemic, reminding you that it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Now go forth and multiply the wisdom that is you, and have the best day ever.